Okay, today we're going to do a lesson in estimating sums. So estimating is the same thing as rounding, okay? And when we round, we can round to the nearest 10 or to the nearest 100. So if we're going to round to the nearest 10, that means our answer is going to end in either 0, 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, or 100. And if we're going to round to the nearest hundreds, then we're talking about 0, 100, 200, 300, 400, 500, 600, 700, 800, 900, 1,000, which we call 1,000. So what we want to do is figure out what two hundreds does our number fall between, and then which one is it closest to, okay? And we're going to start off by rounding to the nearest 10, okay? So let's look at 28 plus 54, okay? So we're rounding to the nearest 10. So you find your 10's place value. Find your digit, look right next door. The 8 is the boss applesauce. Remember, we have our roller coaster, okay? So what two 10's is 28 between? Okay, if we're looking at it on the number line, it would be between 20 and 30. So if this was 20, this was 20, and this was 30, okay? This is going to be 21, 22, 23, and 24 are closest to 20. But 25 is this tipping point where we're up over the hill. Oops, I don't want to put 2 there. 26, 27, 28, and 29 is going to make us closer to 30, okay? So, 28, okay? It's either going to let it rest at 20 or we're going to bump up to 30. Those are our only choices, okay? So, the 8 is the boss applesauce. The 8 is all the way over here, which is closer to the next 10. And if we were thinking about 20 and 30, 28 would be about right there, and definitely much closer to 30. So 28 is going to round up to 30, and 54. Okay, 54 is in between which two 10's? Okay, it's going to be right here. So it's either going to let it rest at 50 or we're going to bump it up to 60. So find your place value, look right next door. The 4 is the boss applesauce. This 4 is going to tell us whether we let it rest at 50 or we bump it up to add one more and go up to 60. So 54 is going to be right here. So it's going to let it rest at 50, okay? And 30 plus 50 rounds to 80, okay? Let's try it again. 37 and 30 and 78. So 37, again, what two 10's is it in between? Okay, 37 is going to be about right here. Okay, so we're either going to, the 7 is going to tell us to let it rest at 30, or it's going to tell us to add one more and bump it up to 40, okay? 4 or less, let it rest. 5 or more, add one more. So this is 37. So if this is, sorry, it's a little shaky there. If this is 30 and this is 40, 37 is going to be right here, which means we're going to bump it up to 40, okay? Now, 78. 78 is in between 70 and 80, okay? 7 is the place value we're looking at. 8 is the boss applesauce. This 8 is going to tell us whether we let it rest at 70 or we add it up to 80, okay? The 8 is way over here. 8 over here. So 5 or more, add one more. So we're going to bump this up to 80, okay? And you can do that off to the side. 80 plus 40. So this rounds to 120, okay? I want you to pause it and try these two. Now this one is tricky, okay? This one's tricky, but a 6 is in between 0 and 10. okay? 4 or less, you're gonna let it rest at 0. 5 or more, you're gonna add one more and go up to 10, okay? So you have to look at that 6 and decide, is it closer to 10 or is it closer to 0, okay? And you can use it on the scale as well, okay? So pause the video and do those two. Okay. This one, 5 or more, is gonna add one more. It should be at 90. 67, the 7 is gonna make it add one more. It's gonna go to 70. So it should round to 160. Okay, 96. This 6 is gonna make you add one more, which is 10, which is really 100. And then this 6 is also gonna add one more up to 10. So you should get 110. Okay? Let's take a look at 13 and 15 here. This one was a little tricky. Okay, so 91. We're gonna find our place value and look right next door. Okay, this one is going to show us, okay, the 91 here, 90, and the next 10 after 90 would be 100, okay? So we have 91 that we're looking at. So 91 is gonna be right here, so definitely 4 or less, we're gonna let it rest at 90, okay? Now 79, find your place value, look right next door. The 9 is the boss applesauce. So let's see what we have here. We have 79, that means that these are in between 70 and 80. So this is gonna be 70 right here. And this is gonna be 80. Sorry, a little shaky. Okay, 70 and 80. So we're looking at 79. So 79, the 9, 5 or more, add one more. So we're gonna go, instead of letting it rest at 70, we're gonna add it up to 80, bump it up. Okay, I want you to try 15. So pause it and do this one. Okay, 5 or more, add one more. So this should round up to 60. 6 is gonna be in the 5 or more, add one more. So that should round up to 90. Okay, so you should get those. Now, rounding to the nearest 100. Okay, we're gonna use this chart here. Okay, but the same roller coaster applies. Whee! Okay, so 489 is between which two hundreds? It should be between 400 and 500. So this is 400, this is 500, this is gonna be 410, 20, 30, 40, 60, 70, 80, 90. Okay, again, 4 or less, let it rest. 5 or more, add one more. Okay, but 489, again, rounding to the nearest 100. So find your place value, ones, tens, hundreds. Find your hundreds, look right next door. We no longer care about the ones at all. They just are not important at this point. It's find your place value and look right next door. So we're looking at the tens as the boss of the hundreds, okay? So the 4 is we can let this rest at 400, or we can add one more and have it go to 500. The 8 is the boss applesauce. 8 is way over here. Okay, so 480, the boss applesauce. 5 or more, we're going to add one more. So this is going to round to 500, which makes sense if you think of it. 489. 89 is much closer to the next 100 because it's significantly past 50, okay? Then we have 922, okay? Find your place value, look next door, okay? Again, 922 is in between 900 and 1,000, okay? The 2 in the tens is the boss applesauce. 922, you probably know, is closer to 900 because of the 22 compared to, you know, where the 50 is right in the middle. So this 2 says let it rest at 900. Okay. You try this one. Pause it and try it. Okay, hundreds, place value. This 0, beep. Okay, 4 or less. 0 is less than 4. So this is gonna rest at 600. 3, again, 4 or less, let it rest. Okay, 1,100. Okay, Tim has 592 stamps in his collection. Steve has 932. About how many stamps? About means we're going to round. So 592. If they don't ever tell you, you always go to the highest place value, okay? So 592, the 9 is the boss applesauce. This is gonna round to 600. 932, the 3 is the boss applesauce. This is gonna let it rest at 900. So we're gonna add 600 and 900 and get 1,500. Okay, estimate by rounding to the nearest 10. So 36 plus 29, nearest 10. Find your 10's place value, look right next door. 5 or more, add 1 more, so this is gonna round to 40. 5 or more, add 1 more, so it's gonna round to 30. Okay, and you try this one rounding to the nearest 100. If it gives you more space, go like this. And give yourself some space, but round each one of those to the nearest 100 and then add them up. You should get 900. Okay, good job.